There are lots of nice B&Bs around the state of Tennessee, and there's one over in West Tennessee in the town of Bolivar with a special distinction. You see, it was named one of the South's best by Fodor's International Travel magazine. Well, Tammy Arnder decided to visit this stately mansion in Hardeman County to discover why.
Magnolia Manor is a classic two-story Georgian colonial mansion that sits just a block off the town square of Bolivar, Tennessee in Hardeman County. It was built by Judge Austin Miller in 1849. He was a prominent attorney in the volunteer state who is credited with helping place the southern boundary of Tennessee so that Memphis would be in Tennessee and not Mississippi. Ms. Elaine Cox bought the home in 1981 as her residence, but decided to restore it and share its wonderful history with the public.
I've done every room in the house. I took a room at a time to put it back as nearly as possible in the period that it was first built. And the rooms upstairs are the color they were when the Millers had it.
During the Civil War in 1862, Magnolia Manor was occupied by the Union Army and used as a headquarters. 4 Union generals stayed here. Their portraits hang on the walls as you enter the house. You'll notice General Sherman is separated from the rest. Ms. Elaine says that's because he's in timeout for using foul language. The story is also told that General Sherman made the statement at dinner one night that all Southern women and children should be exterminated. Well, Ms. Miller, the head of the home, heard this and was insulted. General Grant made Sherman apologize to Ms. Miller. Obviously, Sherman wasn't used to saying, "I'm sorry."
He wasn't too happy about that, but he did get up and apologize to Mrs. Miller. And he was angry, of course, and so he took his sword, and that's where it is said that he chipped the railing of the stairway.
Ms. Elaine, tell me about this room.
This is the parlor, and it's called the double parlor. And actually, I think back in the 1800s, the ladies sat in here, and the gentlemen closed those doors with their cigars and their stories.
So this was where most of the visiting took place.
This is where
after
most
they got
of the
through
visiting.
with dinner back in the
Yes.
dining room, then
Yes.
they would come in here.
Yes. This is a petticoat table, and as you see, instead of the mirror here, which we have one that's kind of different, but this is a petticoat table. And back in those days, it was just absolutely terrible if your ankles would show.
So Ms. Elaine, when guests come, where do they get to stay?
They get to stay in the Miller suite.
Okay.
And this is the main suite.
Oh my word. Look at this bed.
It's very large
Yes.
and just massive. And I think it's really beautiful, but at first, I wasn't so sure it was so beautiful, but it really is, and everybody enjoys sleeping here.
What? How did you get this in here?
It was not easy.
Oh.
I think there were about 6 gentlemen that, and it took almost the whole day. And they did take some of this apart, of course, to get it up the stairway, but it was very difficult. Okay, this is the 1849 room, and this is the one that people love to stay in because they've heard all kinds of ghost stories.
Oh, and I'm already hearing the creak, a little bit of creak. Uh-oh.
This is kind of creepy.
So what have they heard about this room?
Well, they have taken photos in here where the oil painting up there on the fireplace is a young woman, probably 16 or 17. When they take the photo, one called me and says, "We have a photo of a woman that's a man." And sure enough, it looked like one. He had a beard, she had a beard, and it was just amazing. And my son will not sleep in here with the dolls in here because they scare him. And he says, "Mom, I swear to you, they come alive at night."
Oh, goodness.
But I don't really think they do.
I don't think they do.
No.
It's funny how stories grow like that.
It
So I
is.
guess you're ghost hunters. This would be their favorite room?
It's their favorite room.
Right.
You never know what'll happen here.
Elaine loves to cook for her guests. Whether it's blueberry crepes or eggs Benedict, The smell of breakfast entices her guests to come downstairs. Since her overnight guest had departed before we arrived, we invited the mayor of Bolivar and members of the Chamber of Commerce to join us. Mayor Barrett Stevens says he's thrilled Ms. Elaine turned Magnolia Manor into a bed and breakfast.
This town was a Civil War town. During that era, it remained intact, was not destroyed, which a lot of the towns were, but it has a lot of history, and we're trying to maintain that history.
If these walls could talk, they would certainly have stories to tell. But since they can't, we have Ms. Elaine to talk for them, reminding us that Tennessee's rich history and prominent place in the Civil War should never be forgotten.
I just thought it should be saved for the purpose of future generations.